Good morning, everyone. How are you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning. So we're back, and we're going to answer your questions. If there's anything that we say that's related to like borderline on diagnosing or anything that, medical treatments or whatever, just realize this is just information for you to do your own research. We're not trying to diagnose you. Check with your doctor, okay? All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. There's quite a few callers. Why don't we just jump in and start answering questions, and then we'll take some questions over here. And by the way, I have some really good data to show you, life-changing, so you don't want to...
Tips.
You don't want to miss this episode,
Yeah.
and it's throughout the whole thing. And I have even some quizzes. Yeah.
Quizzes. So I hope you went to the bathroom before this started because you do not want to leave the computer.
Sarah, how are you? You had a question. Go ahead.
Yes. I have a friend, and I've noticed that when he drinks alcohol, he cannot sleep whatsoever. It's just a total opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Wide awake, and when he talks, you can never tell that he's intoxicated. It does totally opposite,
Yeah.
And he takes care of his health, And so that was my question.
Okay, thanks for your question. Well, I think alcohol can really affect your sleep one way or the other. It can really make you sleep more if you drink more, which we don't recommend. The whole thing with alcohol, it's a solvent. People are saying, well, I'm gonna drink some wine because it's keto friendly. The problem is the actual alcohol, not even the carbs in the alcohol. The alcohol itself is a solvent, and it can bump you out of ketosis, and it can really affect the chemistry of what your brain is fed. And so you're not going to be burning ketones when you drink alcohol, so you lose that nice effect. So I would recommend to your friend to go ahead and do an alcohol substitute. And what would that be, Karen? Okay,
it would be kombucha.
Kombucha tea. Have them drink kombucha tea. It's a great substitute. It relaxes the person. It is carbonated. It has the same texture like wine and beer, and you can sip that. You feel calm. But yeah, it can really mess up your sleep. One of the things, like, I don't drink. If I did drink, it would affect my sleep too. So, that's one of the reasons why I don't on the weekends. I don't drink on the weekends anymore.
Only during the week.
Right, only during the weekdays. Sarah, thanks for your question. Hey, John, you're from Indiana. How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Good. You had a question. Go ahead.
I'm taking your supplements, the electrolyte powder, the wheatgrass juice powder, and the nutritional yeast. And I'm wondering, does that knock me out of, and I'm also doing intermittent fasting, does that knock me out of ketosis, or does it affect the intermittent fasting?
Got it. Good question. The answer is no. It won't affect your fasting or your ketosis at all. I've tested it. There's just not enough calories. There's hardly any carbs. Like, even in the wheatgrass juice powder, there is less than 1 gram of carb per serving, and you're allowed 20 to 50. So you can imagine it's hardly anything. The electrolytes, it's sugar-free, so it's not going to affect. In fact, it's going to enhance your results simply because the nutrients are going to help with insulin resistance and help your blood sugar. So no, it's not a problem, and a lot of people are doing it on an empty stomach. Thanks, John. All right, let's go to Stacy from Florida. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hi. You had a question. Go ahead.
Yes, my question is, I'm going to be starting diatomaceous. I apologize if I mispronounce it. Diatomaceous earth.
Diatomaceous earth, yeah.
And I was wondering, is it safe to take it in conjunction with MSM?
Yeah, it's absolutely totally fine to take it with MSM. The other thing is, like, the only time you probably wouldn't want to take it is actual with food, but those two together are totally fine. MSM is also really good for eye problems as well. There's actually a dropper that you can get for dry eyes. But really dry eyes is another completely separate problem. It's a vitamin A deficiency. But diatomaceous earth is good for all sorts of things, from detoxing microbes in your body. The list goes on and on. So yeah, not a problem at all. Go ahead and don't even worry about it. Thanks, Stacy. All right, should we go to Karen? Yes, let's go to Karen. What have we got, Karen?
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, here's this first question. How do I smoothly transition off of keto
On to the SAD diet.
onto the standard American diet? Enough of this health. I'm sick of it. I'm healthy.
Well, wait a second. Now, is that a trick question? Like, how to smoothly transition off into what? I need another.
I don't know.
I
just thought it was a good question to kind of, because it could be somebody thinks keto is just about losing weight. So they don't have the whole picture about health and restoring cells and stuff like that. So maybe they think, well, I'm at my ideal weight, but this is a guess.
I have people that will always ask this question. I heard that keto has not been researched long term, so should I only do it short term? Or is keto only good for young people, not old people? Or keto's not good for women? Like, okay, so what is your other option? What do you want to do? More carbs? Like, there is no reason to add more
Carb-loading?
carbs. Yeah, I'm going to actually do a video on carb cycling, which is quite fascinating because there's an article or a research article that goes into, if you do the weekend and you just go off the program, people have this idea, well, I can get right back on. But you actually will not get back on probably for 5 days, 4 to 5 days.
But that's your whole week.
I know.
So you're essentially not on at all.
You're not going to ever
if
get
you're
into it.
Sort of on keto, then you're not on keto at all.
What you guys need to understand is that, unfortunately, it's kind of like an all or none thing. When you jump in and do keto and go off, it takes a bit of time to get back on. And it's it could be days. I'm sorry.
Boy, are you the bearer of bad news
I'm the
this
bearer
morning.
of bad news.
You're the bear.
But it's for your own
You're the
good.
Berg bear.
It's not for your own good, Karen.
If I had a nickel for all the times I heard that.
I'm just the messenger.
Okay.
Okay, so do we have another question?
Yes. A couple of questions came in about nursing moms. Can they take their supplements? Can they do keto while someone's nursing?
Yeah. There's no problem with any of the supplements with nursing. The only thing with nursing is, and also being pregnant, is you don't want to do any type of extreme prolonged fasting or anything crazy with fasting. That's the only point. I mean, you can do 3 meals with no snacks, but keto is good for everyone, and also the supplements are not an issue. But if you're pregnant or even nursing, one of the key nutrients that you need to probably take is the vitamin D3. Very important because breast milk does not have a lot of vitamin D3. Yeah. And also take the trace minerals, and I'm going to tell you why. The trace minerals really help for the formation of bone growth. And if you're deficient in these trace minerals, you can end up with flat feet, scoliosis, dental malformations, like the list goes on. So it's like a no-brainer, just do the trace minerals. But what really will cause a deficiency of trace minerals is the refined carbohydrates.
I was going to ask you a question related to that. Because, we read a lot of this Price and Pottinger research and their cats and things like that, and also the studies of other cultures that didn't have sugar.
Yeah.
And that was a really big thing of the dental formation or malformation.
Right.
Before sugar was ever introduced into the community, and then after sugar was introduced into the community. So some people are like, well, it's genetics. My family has this messed up mouth or messed up teeth or whatever. But in those studies, it was a clear correlation between the malformations of the structure and the introduction of sugar.
If your parents have dental problems, chances are genetically that can create a weakness within you. So it does take a couple generations to kind of clean things up. But the point is that you'd be surprised how much a connection between what you eat and nutrients and just the formation of your bones in general, how your structure is, what you look like, the shape of your face, the shape of your upper mandible, so the maxilla, and the mandible down here. So there's a lot of connection between that, and it's a no-brainer. It's easy to solve.
Well, it also brings the point that a lot of people will maybe try keto, and we've heard this. They try keto, or they're trying to lose weight, and they say, well, it's genetic. For me, it's genetic because my mom had it, my grandma had it, but also, you know, how they ate is passed down through the generations. And it also means that if you do have a genetic tendency or propensity for something, that changing your diet.
Pick your parents more wisely.
Pick your parents smarter.
I think that's a very wise tip, Karen.
No, but the point is that if that is the case, you can make a change by really seriously changing your diet.
Yeah, the takeaway is to...
What's the takeaway?
The takeaway is before you become pregnant, like 2 years, and before you decide to get pregnant, because everyone plans on getting pregnant at a certain point, you want to prepare your body in a way that you get this reserve, trace minerals, fat soluble, vitamins, vital. And then that way, when you have the baby, you're not going to have a problem. And especially when you're pregnant, I'm not into the synthetic stuff, so do something food-based. Okay? I'll do more videos on that, Karen.
Okay.
Let's go to Harold from New York. Are you there, Harold?
Yes, I am. Hi, Dr. Berg.
Hi.
Hello. Yes. My question is, I have a fatty liver.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing intermittent fasting for over a year and a half. I exercise on average 6 days a week doing cardio and weight training. I started maybe the keto diet, let's say in the last 2 weeks, but I pretty much eat a plant-based diet. My fasting period is 18 hours, and I eat within a 6-hour window. I will say that I did have a spinal cord injury where I was hospitalized for 2 years. I'm now walking with a cane. So my efforts now to exercise are not the same. I do have limitations in my right hand and my right leg, but I'm able to work out on average from an hour and a half to an hour. And I was a personal trainer. So, but I have this belly, and I can't seem to get rid of it.
Yeah. Okay. Here's some tips. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay, good. There's a couple things you can do to kill two birds with one stone. It says on your notes that there's a hep C, fatty liver, spinal cord injury. The thing about spinal cord injuries is they heal slowly. The nerves heal at like 1 millimeter a day, so it takes time. So you have to think long term. But I'm going to tell you the benefit of a little bit longer fasting, 1 meal a day, periodic prolonged fasting, maybe on the weekends or something like that. That would be very, very important, because what happens, you get, it's called regenerative properties when you do fasting. It's like miracle grow for your brain and your nervous system. So you can actually facilitate improvement in your nervous system with that. The other thing that would be important would be benfotiamine. It's a fat-soluble B1 that actually goes into the nervous system and helps speed up the healing. But also hep C, it's a virus. When you do fasting, you go in autophagy. Autophagy recycles old damaged proteins, but it also helps invading microbes and viruses. So you can potentially help to clear out viruses and microbes that are unwanted out of the system when you do prolonged fasting with autophagy. So that's really exciting. So that's what I would do. As far as the belly goes, you want to take choline with the keto, keep your carbs low, and do prolonged fasting. That's what you need to do, Harold. I think you could kill two birds with one stone. Thanks, Harold. Karen,
You know,
it's time
the
to
bird
talk
people
about...
are going to have a problem with you.
The who?
The bird people.
I know.
You're going to
Well,
get some hate now.
I know, it's a situation.
We're
So-
not an advocate of
so-
killing any birds. We love birds.
Right. So the next question I'm going to ask everyone, I want to know, everyone, what is your favorite vegetable? Would you tell me your favorite vegetable, people? What's your favorite vegetable?
I think right now my favorite vegetable is cauliflower.
I thought it was arugula.
See, I didn't really think of those in the same category. It is a vegetable. I love arugula.
Okay.
I love eggplant.
Okay.
I love cauliflower.
All right.
But I think cauliflower is more versatile.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So and
I hate okra. I just want to put that out there.
thank you for sharing. I think people.
Only one I hate is okra.
I think people. I just want to let them know, like, we're not including corn in this mix. What do people
Whoa,
say?
look at the broccoli.
Broccoli?
Yeah,
Wow.
asparagus, salads,
Pumpkin?
broccoli, mushrooms. You got a relative there in the mushroom department.
Wow.
Zucchini is really great. Kale, Brussels sprouts. We love Brussels sprouts. It's really popular these days, and we're happy about it. Carrots, be careful there. Sweet potatoes. Dandelion greens, watercress,
Wow.
nice. Broccoli, spinach, cabbage, and cucumbers.
Wow.
A lot of broccoli,
about here?
broccoli, bell peppers, asparagus, cabbage, cucumbers, Brussels sprouts, broccoli with cream cheese. Send me that little recipe there. What are you doing? Jenny can't pick one. She gave a paragraph of vegetables. Well, that's cool. There's a lot of people who have several. That's great. Facebook is like, people have a lot. On YouTube, it's the one word answer, but it's a lot of broccoli, asparagus. Benji on YouTube says fennel. And I tell you, we have been turned on to that fennel bulb and love it.
Interesting.
Love it.
Interesting. Avocado.
Oh, avocado.
Okay, good.
Is that a vegetable? I thought that was a fruit.
It's a berry. No, I was kidding.
We really don't know what it is.
Okay, so here's the thing, guys. This is awesome. You guys are actually picking the right answers. I'm just kidding. A lot of you are picking cruciferous vegetables, which is, and the benefit of cruciferous is it has extra things. It has stronger phytonutrients that can protect against the macular degeneration of the eye. It can protect against the damage of the oxidants going through our bodies. It can actually help us with the liver. So that's awesome. Mushrooms are really high in this enzyme called tyrosinase, which is good for collagen, and it's part of the vitamin C complex. So that's good. Mushrooms are really beneficial there. Of course, the broccoli is like, hands down, I can't do it. It's really, really good cruciferous vegetable. Cabbage is awesome as well, especially when you ferment it. Arugula, I want to just talk about arugula for a second, because you like arugula.
1 second.
Arugula is the highest nitrate vegetable. Now you think, well, you're thinking nitrates that they're putting in the bacon.
Bacon.
No, we're not talking about those. We're talking about the beneficial nitrates, which turn into things that actually help us in the body, especially with circulation, and protect the arteries and increase oxygen through the bodies. If you ever hear of nitroglycerin, do you know why they give people nitroglycerin?
I don't.
Heart attacks.
I mean,
angina.
I knew for what purpose, but I didn't know why that.
Well, the nitrates are kind of like a natural version of nitro, so they actually give us good blood flow. Also, nitrates prevent a fatty liver. So,
Well, I love arugula. I love arugula.
Yeah.
I love that it's bitter. I like really bitter vegetables.
yeah,
And
the bitterness, certain people react. There are anti-nutrients in vegetables for sure, and because they deal with all these pests trying to destroy them, they can't run away. But certain people are sensitive to certain vegetables, and I've done videos on this. But if it doesn't bother you, you can go ahead and have some. But for example, spinach has a lot of oxalates, so if you have a tendency to get stones, avoid spinach and rhubarb and Swiss chard. Bell pepper is really good because it's like one of the most highest vitamin C vegetables that you can possibly have. But my favorite vegetable is basically just regular leafy green, not spinach, but just leafy green salads.
now, what about the other day you had an interesting grilled romaine hearts? It was this
I like that.
huge thing of romaine, and it was just ever so slightly grilled, and it
That
had
was
cheese,
good.
and that was amazing.
I like that, and I also like deep fried romaine lettuce sometimes on the
Deep
weekends.
fried.
No, I don't do that. Avocado, hands down, is great for keto.
Really good.
So I was just curious if what everyone liked. So I want to just.
So just a curiosity, I mean, some people are answering it here, but we got the what's wrong with carrots and sweet potatoes question.
Well, you know, I'm not against a carrot here or two. It's just not going to really bump you out of ketosis simply because the amount of fiber in there is so high. There's a video you can watch on that. It's called glycemic load versus the glycemic index. You can go ahead and look at that. But I don't really talk much about carrots. I'm not concerned about them. As far as sweet potato, yes, that's another situation. It's better than other potatoes, but still it's a starch. So
And carrot juice would be a problem.
that's really bad because that's taking the fiber out. Right. Yeah. And I used to consume a lot of juice.
Yeah, we
carrot
used to
juice
drink a lot
as
of
a
juices.
cleanse. Terrible. Hey, Carrie, you're from Illinois. You have a question. Go ahead.
Yes. Hi, Dr. Berg and
Hi.
Karen. It's great speaking with you both.
Hi.
I've got a question about artificial sweeteners such as stevia and erythritol, among others. Those are just my personal favorites. Anyhow, I'm a little confused because I've read that while those sweeteners don't cause a rise in blood sugar, they do cause a rise in insulin. And I'd just love to get your thoughts on that.
Sure. It's one of those things, Carrie, that I always hear, like, I heard this. And then you ask the person, where did you hear that? Do you remember where you heard that?
You know, I thought it was in Dr. Fung's book, The Obesity Code.
Okay. Are you sure?
Like 99%, because when I read it, I was heartbroken because I absolutely love those. And I thought, wait, how? Just like, it just didn't make any sense to me.
You know, I read it too. I may have missed that chapter. I didn't see it. So maybe you could email him and just see what context he's talking about. Because, first of all, stevia and erythritol have zero effect on, they're basically zero on the glycemic index. So that means they don't spike glucose, which means they're not going to spike insulin. So to my knowledge, everything they looked at, I've never seen anything that's going to spike insulin at all. In fact, one thing you could do
Just test it.
is test it for yourself to see,
Right.
because you hear all these different rumors, and sometimes you hear like, oh my gosh, coffee is bad for ketosis, coffee is good for ketosis. Well, why don't you just test it out yourself? And that's going to bring up the next topic. I'm not going to talk about it now, but I want to mention it.
Okay.
Okay?
But I did want to say, I mean, I saw a video once where someone was testing that with all these different kinds. But the problem is that it was an immediate test, almost immediate test. So there wasn't, and it was one after another, after another, after another.
When you do your blood sugar testing, guys, you have to check, like after maybe, you could check immediately if you want, and then 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. You have to check, especially when you get into certain food testing, because it has a delayed reaction. Just like pasta, for example. Mm-hmm. Pasta is so dense, it doesn't get absorbed very fast. So it won't show up on your blood glucose for 2 to 3 to 4 hours later. So you think, oh yeah, I can do pasta. And then you find out you can't do pasta. Right. Thanks for your question, Carrie. That's just my opinion. Thanks for calling. But you know what I was going to say, Karen, and I'm going to bring this up, not exactly right now because I'm waiting for the 11:30, but I'm going to talk about this.
Okay. So you're withholding.
I'm withholding some things,
information.
but I'm going to tell you right now what I'm going to talk about.
Okay.
The dirty little secrets of research and science and studies that drug companies don't want you to find out about. Yeah, we're going to talk about that really, really soon, and it's quite interesting, guys. There's some, because if I were to ask you guys, and I'll ask you this right now, when you go to get info, let's say, for example, you have to take a drug, a medical drug. There's no other way. You don't like taking drugs, but you have to take a drug. What do you do to know that it's effective and safe? Who do you go to? Let me know. I want to know. Do you go to your doctor? Do you actually do research? Do you do, what do you do? I want to know. Okay? And while they're answering the question, I want to just jump right to Darcy. She's been waiting a bit from Wisconsin, Sheboygan.
and
Are you there, Darcy?
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Yes, I am. Hi, Dr. Berg.
Hi.
I've been doing keto for about a month, and I have pain in my urethra
Yeah.
or urinary tract. I have a history of urinary tract infections, which I've been taking cranberry for years, and it seems to help. And that's always helped. I haven't had a UTI for quite a long time, but I've been having this pain, and I know it's not a UTI. But I was on a ketogenic forum, and it was saying that the keto diet causes your body to be acidic, and if you drink apple cider vinegar, it helps it to be more alkaline. But then I was watching your video on apple cider vinegar, and it said you said the keto diet makes your body more alkaline. So I guess I'm getting conflicting information from different places, and I'm just not really sure
Yeah.
what's the right answer.
Okay, I can see that. There's a couple reasons, and it's probably one big reason why you're getting this. Certain people are sensitive to certain vegetables because of oxalates. Oxalates are like they combine with calcium, and they can create these little razor blade things and create problems through the urinary tract. What I would do if I were you is I would stop consuming spinach. Do you consume any spinach at all?
Not really very
Okay.
much, if any.
Do you do a lot of nuts?
I do eat pecans mostly.
Okay, so the best nut to consume would be the pistachio, as the lowest oxalates.
Okay.
And you can also, when you consume your food, the meal, have a little bit of goat's cheese or sheep cheese. And I'm going to tell you why, because that calcium will bind with any oxalates, because it's really hard to avoid these oxalates. So the oxalates, they combine in the urinary tract with calcium, and they form these little crystals, and they can actually cause what you're experiencing with certain individuals, not everyone. So you want to go low oxalates. I've done videos on this, and you can download the sheet on the high oxalate foods. But if you actually add the cheese in there with the meal, it combines with the oxalates, and it goes through the digestive system, doesn't get absorbed, so that'll help you. The other thing, one more thing, do you ever eat sugar-free chocolate?
Not really.
Okay, good.
I guess the free stuff I do is, like if I do a sugar-free pudding mix or something, but I don't know, not really the actual chocolates.
Well, here's the thing. There's like almond flour, okay? Those two, high in oxalates. So I would go in that area, and I think that you clear it right up. As far as the pH goes, if you're doing intermittent fasting, you may tend to be more on the acidic side, but it doesn't mean we need to start to alkalize you unless you have high uric acid, in which case you might want to do that. Also, I'm going to recommend potassium citrate. You can do either electrolyte powder or just potassium citrate, because if you're doing intermittent fasting, the other reason other than oxalates is the uric acid crystals, and that could be another reason, potentially. So I would do those two things. Okay, Darcy? Thanks for your call. All right, Karen?
okay. So the vast majority of people said their doctor.
Yes.
There was several people said the pharmacist.
Okay.
Other people did their own research, be it Google, YouTube, whatever, or
Okay.
some combination. But
All
most
right.
people just said their doctor. You gotta trust your doctor.
Yeah. Here's the thing, guys, and unfortunately, a lot of the doctors are not aware of this one point I want to bring up. In 2005, they passed a rule. Certain organizations passed a rule of transparency for drug companies that do research. And what they basically said now is they have to display all of their studies and the findings and the side effects. Because before 2005, you could do a study, and you can only cherry pick the studies that you want people to see and omit the ones that you don't. So that was a credibility problem, right? Because they would alter this data, and the doctor would get this thing, oh, the drug's safe. And as you know, many drugs end up being dangerous, and they take them off the market what? Wait a second, I thought it was fully researched. No, it wasn't. So this is the problem, especially when you get into statins and also psych drugs. So here's the thing. Since 2005, a lot of these things were not transparent. But the problem is now we have a so-called high compliance rate with the drug companies of uploading all of their studies, all of the data, all the side effects to a site called clinical, I think it's called clinicalstudy.com. Let me just get this exact. It's called clinical, I'm going to have to release the video here. Clinicaltrials.org. Clinicaltrials.org. Okay? So here's the problem. A lot of these guys are saying, yeah, we're going to comply, but they don't tell you how they're going to comply. They say, we'll consider it. So to date, it's still not enforced enough. So we still are getting cherry-picked studies that are being pushed out there. Media takes them up there. The doctors read the journals, so they're not getting the full picture. Because when you actually see the whole picture, you're going to see that these studies actually didn't show any positive benefit with your mortality. It didn't show any benefit with other things. So that's going to be important to know about.
Well, that's important to know because, doctors go into their field because they want to help people. They want to learn how to help people. And even a pharmaceutical rep, I mean, you're not having a bunch of people walking around going, I really want to be dangerous, or I really don't want to help people, or whatever. They're given the information they're given, and look at a commercial. I mean, if you look at a commercial, it looks like it saves your life and saves the world, this drug, unless you're listening to the side effects, which now they have to put on a commercial. But it's just good to know that.
Yeah, it is. And 2 more points I want to bring up on this topic. Since 1946, there's been over 1 million articles released on data about food nutrition, about diet, that are simply based on memory-based questionnaires, not actually any really credible study. So when you do a questionnaire, like what did you eat in the last year and blah, 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 and that's how they're doing a study, which is totally not credible. That's what they've been using. I mean, very repetitively, especially when you get into nutrition. So we have that point.
Okay.
And the last point I want to bring up is called a run-in period. Certain drug companies can use what's called a run-in period. Run-in period, which is the period of time where they can, like 6 weeks, where they can just take the initial data out of the study based on like non-compliance. Okay? So basically, if I'm going to do a study and I'm going to take out non-compliance for the first 6 weeks and then start the actual study, it's going to be flawed. Because if you look at the reason for the non-compliance, write down the list, and I'm going to actually show people a copy of it, most of it's based on side effects. I'm getting these bad side effects. So now they can omit that, carry on after 6 weeks. And you think that to me, that is corrupt, that is not okay, that is like, that's not credible. So anyway, I'm going to do another study on that. I just wanted to bring up that good news. And I'm being sarcastic.
Right.
But it's good to know.
Yeah. Let's take a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, good. So I have a couple quick ones and then a longer one. So Kyle on YouTube is asking, aloe vera juice, okay, not okay, too alkaline?
No, it's totally fine. Aloe vera juice, as long as it doesn't have any sugar in it or sweetness or anything added, it's a great healer for the inside of the digestion and many other things. It's good for the lower intestinal tract. I don't have a problem with it.
Okay, good. Briefly, somebody here asking 1,000 times really wants to know how to put on 15 pounds of lean muscle mass.
I can't tell you how to do that. All I can say is that there's 2 things you have to do. You're going to have to do hardcore, heavy weights, low reps, or to your maximum reps as far as to fatigue. You're going to have to do that, and maybe hire a personal trainer, and then you're going to have to really increase your calories big time. So you're going to have to eat more. You can't do this just with a small meal. Those 2 together are what I'm going to recommend, and you might have to increase more protein, not necessarily carbs. Okay?
Okay. So here is a question from Lisa on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I'm going to not say the drug that she talks about. So my husband has diabetes type 2. His doctor put him on weekly drug injections. We've been doing healthy keto for 11 weeks and his blood sugar's normal. He's no longer having to take any of his oral meds for diabetes. I told him not to take the injection drug anymore. I looked up to see what action it has on the body, and it's supposed to help your body produce more of its own insulin.
Mm-hmm.
If insulin resistance is the main cause of type 2 diabetes, taking this injection makes no sense to me. Unless your body made no insulin, you would not want to take more insulin, would you?
See, you're thinking in logics.
Lisa is very logical.
So here's
Thank you, Lisa.
Let me explain this. When you have insulin resistance, though, okay, your body, your cells can't absorb the insulin. So we have the situation where we have a deficiency of insulin because of the resistance, and that's why they're giving you the insulin. But you have a lot of excess too, because the body will start making more insulin to a certain point until it gets exhausted. So the body's making more insulin on one part, and then intracellular, there's like low insulin. So we have a combination of both, and I hope that answers your confusion. And you're right though. As you get better, and insulin gets better, the need for medication should go down if you're being logical and smart about it. All right, good question. I need to go to Robin from Chicago. You had a question? Go ahead.
Hi, Dr. Berg.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
Great, thanks.
Hi, I have a question. So I am vegan, and I'm trying to do vegan keto. I don't count calories. I'm also OMAD, so I just have one meal a day, and usually it's these big salads. So I'm not able to exercise because of health issues, so my lifestyle, unfortunately, is very sedentary, but I want to lose weight. So I remember when I first started keto, I lost a lot of weight in the beginning, but I'm noticing that it's kind of leveling off a little bit. Although I don't weigh myself, I use my clothes to, gauge it. So I'm wondering how do I know basically if I'm having too much dietary fat? Because my salads, they're full of kale and spinach, but also like avocado and walnuts and hemp seeds and chia seeds and olives. So I'm wondering, how do I know but I don't want to skimp on the calories because it's my only meal of the day.
Okay.
So basically, how do I know if I'm having too much dietary fat in order to lose weight?
Okay, so that being said, it is more, I will say it's more challenging to do keto when you're vegan just because it's hard to keep your carbs down. However, there is a way to do it. You just have to be really strict about it and really look at things. But as far as your situation and you want to see more improvement, you want to know, how do I control these fats? You're going to have to bring your fats down below 75 grams per day. So you can do the math, calculate that. As long as you're below 75, it should start helping you with that. The other thing is, the question that I have for you is, are you always hungry before you eat that one meal a day?
I try to hold it off. If I'm not hungry, I don't eat.
Okay,
Sometimes
good.
I'll just skip a whole day if I'm not hungry.
Okay,
Sometimes there have been times I've eaten the other day.
Okay.
So the fat holds me very well. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think I would just start bringing your carbs down. I would not go below 60 grams, between 60 and 75 grams a day, and that should help you. I'm going to be releasing an updated version of this video called Keto on Steroids. Stay tuned for that within 1 week, and that will answer all your questions because I have a lot of different examples and tweaks for that, and that's a document that I'm going to be putting out there. So anyway, stay tuned, Robin. Thanks for your call. Okay, Karen.
I think you have two things I want to ask.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because you have another quiz of some kind coming up.
I have a very exciting quiz coming up.
Okay, good. But also, you were saying something about next week, and I just want to make sure that we don't neglect whatever you're doing next week. Something's happening next Friday on the live show, and I didn't want us to get through this without telling people.
Yeah, I knew you were going to ask me that.
You were saying.
I'm going to be talking about, there's this one ingredient that I haven't really talked much about that's so insidious. It's just everywhere, pervading in society, in our foods, in the grocery store. It's almost impossible to get away from it.
So it's a bad thing.
Yeah. And I haven't done a video on this yet, but I'm going to talk about it only next Friday. So you might want to show up.
So you're not going to do a video on it. It's that.
Well, not until after Friday. But it's going to be very interesting because you are going to literally have a whole shift of viewpoint on, and this is not going to be something like, oh my gosh, now I can't eat that. It's just an awareness thing that's very fascinating, the connections between this one ingredient. And it's just interesting, and I think it's good to know, and it's
mystery.
It's not going to be doom and gloom or anything like that. But stay tuned; it's going to be exciting.
Okay, so that's next week.
Yeah.
So then also another thing, you're going to do a quiz, but I also want to, because it's 11:41 already, and we haven't mentioned the summit.
The summit is
The 2019
coming up
Healthy Keto Summit, Dr. Berg's Healthy Keto Summit.
at the end of March. I'm sorry,
I
August.
hope not.
August 29th. It's going to be, and September 1st.
Right.
Guys, I hope we can finally meet you in person because we want to meet you, and it's a mandatory thing that you have to come. So I'm just putting that out there, but it's going to be great. We have amazing speakers. Thomas Dellar is coming, Dr. Westman, 2 cardiologists are coming, keto-friendly, Dr. Mercola, Megan Ramos, all sorts of people are going to be coming out, and Ivor Cummins. So you don't want to miss this. It's going to be life-changing again, and we're going to have a blast.
Eberstein?
Yep. And some new people that you probably haven't heard of that you're going to really enjoy.
It's going to be awesome.
So if you want to find out more information, you go to drberg.com. There's
yeah.
a couple buttons right on there. It's one on the keto tab, and right at the very top it says Summit, okay, 2019. Click that, check out the video, and then hope you can come.
Okay, good. Now, next thing.
Yes.
What is that?
Should we do a quiz?
You said you want to do a quiz.
Yeah, let's do a quiz.
Okay.
There's this one trace mineral, guys, that is hands down the best thing you could do if you have achy joints and arthritis, not just osteo, but rheumatoid as well. This is done by a double-blinded, okay? It means that the people that were comparing to a placebo, they didn't know which one got which, and also the person doing the research also didn't know. So it was double-blinded, and it was randomized, and it was also randomized control study. And so 71% with no side effects, 71% improvement, no side effects, significant improvement with arthritis. So if you want to know what this trace mineral is, go ahead and guess right now.
No Googling.
Just see what I want to see what they say.
Selenium?
Well, don't tell me yet, because I want to go right to, as you're answering, I'm going to go to Teresa from New Hampshire. Are you there?
Yes, hi, Dr. Berg. Hi, Karen.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi. I just had a question. My husband and I are going to be starting our son on solid food soon, and I was wondering if you had any recommendations about what foods to start with, and then aside from like processed sugar and other like junk foods, what kind of food should we avoid?
Well, you know, funny you said that because we also have a baby in the house, and Lucy, and we're doing a similar thing, but you actually ideally want to do breastfeeding for 6 years. I'm just being kidding. Now, keep doing breastfeeding for a couple years for sure. But as far as this question, I'm going to refer you to Western Price. They have a lot more data. I'm going to create a video on this shortly because there are foods you do not want to give these children, especially cow's milk, and also you don't want to give them, any juices. So I will do a video separately on this because this could be more of a. There's a lot more to it. As far as the breastfeeding, though, nutritional yeast or brewer's yeast to be very vital to keep that into your diet as to fortify the milk. But thanks for your question, Teresa. I'll get back to you on that. Western Price, research him. All right, Karen, what do we got for the trace mineral? Weston Price.
Weston Price. Well, I have a long list here.
Okay.
Selenium, potassium, magnesium, phosphorus, copper. There's folic acid, iodine, boron, bromine, turmeric.
Okay, these are all really good,
Zinc.
good guesses. And
They're all wrong?
the answer is boron. Boron
Good job, guys.
is an amazing trace mineral. Now, trace minerals are needed in much smaller amounts, but boron helps a person make cortisol. Cortisol is the main anti-inflammatory in the body, so it helps your adrenals make all steroid hormones, including even estrogen and testosterone. So if you're menopausal and your bones are falling apart, or you have achy joints when you go through menopause, boron is what you need to take. It actually helps the absorption of calcium magnesium. It's a really powerful antimicrobial, as in borax bleach, which is a natural mineral. But
So
boron is one of the great minerals if you have any type of inflammation.
Wow. So that comes in capsules, or they can get that somewhere. They
Get
wouldn't
sick-
eat
you
their
wanna-
the borax.
No, you want to get
dish-
it. You
the
want to
laundry
get
detergent.
No, you would want to get 6 milligrams per day. 6 milligrams a day. That's what you want. Usually it comes in 3 milligram tablets, and you can just take 2 of those a day. And I think you'll be quite happy with the results. Men that want to increase testosterone, they can take boron too. Boron is good for bone health, but mainly inflammation. It's like an anti-inflammatory.
Wow.
Okay, so that was a
Great.
good tip, right?
That
Did you
was
like that?
really valuable.
Was that good or was that
Well,
good?
you know, I think that arthritis and joint pain is challenging for a lot of people, and that doesn't come up much in our conversation.
That's true. That's a true statement, Karen.
So I
Now,
liked it.
there is another thing I'm going to talk about as we get closer. So you don't want to click off right now, guys. You want to stay here. Don't leave.
13
Because
minutes.
I'm going to talk about 3 very strange and weird symptoms if you have on a fatty liver.
Strange and weird.
Yeah, like you wouldn't expect this to happen with a fatty liver. So you want to hear what I'm going to say about that, because if you have a fatty liver, you need to know this.
Huh.
Yeah.
Can you be thin and have a fatty liver?
Especially because
Why especially?
because usually thin people they don't have a weight problem, so they may have a tendency to think they can eat whatever they want, and they get fatty livers. Erica, let's go to you. You're from New York. Go ahead.
Hi guys, how are you?
Hey.
Great.
I have a quick question. I was talking with my cardiologist. I want to get off blood pressure pills, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have high blood pressure and I have SVT. And we were talking about losing weight, getting off of meds, and I mentioned keto. He told me no. He said it would aggravate my SVT and it would keep my blood pressure elevated, essentially keeping me on the medication.
Yeah. Okay. I hear that all the time. Are you also on any type of diuretics?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to give you my opinion on this, and I hope to see you at the summit because you're right down the street. There's 2 cardiologists that are coming that are going to give you the truth about this. What you're running into is that your doctor just doesn't honestly have all the facts. And I'm going to tell you, if you don't believe me, just go ahead and ask them and say, why wouldn't you recommend that? And then ask them, what is the ketogenic diet? And you're going to get this huge, like deer in the headlights, it's
Too much fat.
eating too much fat. Like they don't really understand it. They're just told in the medical community that, do the American Heart Association high carb diet. But here's the thing. If you do the ketogenic diet, you lower the carbohydrates that are causing the fluid retention. The need for a diuretic virtually goes away. And I'm not telling you to get off your diuretic, but you're going to find you're going to lose a lot of fluid on keto, number 1. So that just instantly takes the whole fluid retention out of the picture. The other thing is you're going low carb. Guess what? Your insulin is going to go down. You're going to improve insulin resistance. The stiffness in your arteries are going to soften up. The calcifications, the inflammatory conditions will get better on a keto. It's low carb. It's the carbs that create the inflammation. Your rhythm of your heart also is dependent on electrolytes. So yes, you need to do more electrolytes, and that's really, it doesn't really even, carbs deplete your minerals like potassium, magnesium. So I would recommend a really good electrolyte powder and low carb intermittent fasting. That's like, if you go to my website and even look up who's coming, those cardiologists that are coming, and look at their websites and see what they're recommending, because you need the truth about keto, a healthy version of it, because when you ask someone and they don't have experience in it, it's not a reliable person to go to. They're great with medicine, but as far as diet, they don't have that data. Thanks, Erica. Okay, Karen, I think we're ready for a question on social media.
Oh, I think I accidentally blocked someone I didn't mean to. Sorry about that.
Whoops.
Whoops. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Good. Hey, Luann says my cardiologist loves it. I'm assuming you mean the keto diet. There are great doctors out there that do more research. I mean, that's the thing. You guys are on, it's not a speech, but like you're on the web. You're searching for solutions. Dr. Berg searches for solutions. There's doctors all over the place and health practitioners all over the place that are searching for solutions, and they're up to date, right? Other people are just listening to what they're given, and that's dangerous. Or it's like lazy research. So you're going to have some people who are just going to keep doing what they're told and doing what the data they're fed at their annual convention or whatever, and you're going to have other doctors that are amazing. And there's a growing number of healthcare practitioners out there that realize the benefits of the ketogenic diet and all kinds of things that are coming up in the health. I mean, this isn't the only subject in health these days that people are having a realization about. So,
And the truth of the matter, is this, that the doctors are really been taught a certain way over many years, and the longer you are in this certain viewpoint, it's literally almost impossible to change that viewpoint. People that are giving opinions, they have a hard time being flexible with changing their mind about things. That's just the truth. People don't want to change their mind.
They can.
They can, but they have a tendency not to want to do that because people want to be right. And changing a mind is very difficult, despite it being truthful or not, because they have to maintain that rightness about their past recommendations for so many years. I mean,
but you don't do that. You'll say I was wrong.
If you take the average medical doctor, that's set in their ways, are they flexible in changing their mind?
I don't have a lot of experience with the average medical doctor, so I can't answer that question. But I mean, I see what you're saying.
Okay, good.
I do see what you're saying. But my point was there are a lot of people out there that are recognizing a lot of other solutions.
Yeah, especially cardiologists too. Yeah, they're switching slowly, Karen.
Okay, can some people with no gallbladder had this question a lot today? No gallbladder, can you do keto?
Yeah, you just probably want to take a little bit of bile salts. There's something I recommend called Gallbladder Formula. You can go to drberg.com and check it out. But it's a combination of certain bile salts and digestive help to improve the ability for the gallbladder to work better. Because if you don't have a gallbladder, you just don't have the storage of bile. So when you're doing like 70% fat, you want to be able to extract those nutrients better. And you are going to be deficient in bile if you don't have a gallbladder. The gallbladder doesn't make bile, it just stores it. The liver makes it. Can we go to Jose? He's been waiting patiently.
I suppose.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello, Jose? Are you there?
Yeah.
Good. What was your question?
Hi, Dr. Berg. So
Hi.
my question is regarding diabetic type 1 and keto. So is it safe? And more specifically, if it is, how do we deal with hypoglycemia? And also, is it possible that we can do workouts while on keto and a ketogenic state and being diabetic type 1?
Yeah. So this is a really good question. I did a video on it, but I'm just going to explain it really quick. There's much more side effects with high blood sugar than low blood sugar. But the concern is low blood sugar, right? You're type 1, that means you don't make insulin anymore, so you have to take it. Jose, and let me ask you, when you do more carbs, do you require more insulin?
This is specifically for my girlfriend, just FYI.
Okay. That's fine. So
what happened?
Yeah, when you eat more carbs, you need more insulin to lower that carb. That's how it works. And the goal is to keep your blood sugars normal. But really, the other goal, and the more just as important, is keep your insulin low as possible to maintain this sugar balance. Okay, so the diet for type 1 should be always keto, healthy version of keto, always. Why? So we can decrease the need for excess insulin. Excess insulin creates a lot of side effects in your body. So if we can take less amounts, that would be good, right? So healthy keto is recommended with intermittent fasting. And you also asked the second question on that. He asked two questions.
Oh, you were looking at me.
What did he say again?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Part two.
The workouts.
Oh, workouts, yeah. Yeah, the workouts are essential. Just realize that if you monitor your blood sugars, the need for insulin is going to go down. So you're going to have to make adjustments till you take less and less and less. But if you don't take less and you don't monitor it, and you're going on keto, exercising, and you're taking the same amount of insulin, that's going to push your blood sugar so far down, and that's going to be a problem. But not if you monitor it and get help with your doctor to take the minimum amount to achieve the goal, which is normal blood sugars. Okay, thanks for your question.
Well said.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I have one here. So Lisa on YouTube says, I wake up starving if I eat a late dinner.
Yeah.
Is it okay to eat fat like butter or cream as a snack right before bed? That might not be the problem.
No, because anything you eat of any calories is not going to raise blood glucose, but it can stimulate something in your small intestine to release a little bit of insulin. But what I would recommend if I were you is try to consume your meal a little bit earlier and make sure the carbs are low and do your fat. And because if you're really hungry in the morning, it tells me that you probably ate a little too late and there's some carbs in there that you probably shouldn't have. And I think too, you need to do this for a period of time to get your body to adapt to the point where you're waking up all night long, you're fasting, but you're actually burning fat, and you can go a lot longer without eating. But to be able to now add fat at night is just going in the opposite direction. We want to get you to go longer without eating. So add fat at that, like maybe at your dinner time at 6 o'clock. That's what I would recommend.
Okay. This is a 3-minute warning.
Okay, so let's go
to
to
quiz. Do we have an announcement?
I'm going to first take this person's call. Bravia from Chicago. Are you there?
Hi, Dr. Berg. Hi, Karen.
Hi.
Hello.
How's the Windy City?
Pretty windy right now. So my question to you guys is that for the past 7 years, I've been taking vitamin D because my doctor said that I was low, but never mentioned K2 or anything. Mm-hmm. And just recently, I've had an explosion of moles all over my body and plaquing on my teeth, and my heels are hurting. Mm-hmm. So my levels right now of vitamin D are at a 40, and my doctor still said take vitamin D. My question is, do I not take vitamin D, just take K2, or continue to take them both? How do I fix this problem?
Take them both. Take them both because you need vitamin K2 with D to prevent that problem of excess calcium that kind of deposits in certain places that it shouldn't. Now, I'm not going to, I'm not biased on my own product on that because I have one. Of course, I'm completely neutral. But the one thing that I put in my K2D3 product is bile salts to help the absorption a little bit better. So you maybe want to try that or try some other one. But yeah, you just need the K2 version. That's all you need. And I think your problems will go away. Thanks for your call. Okay, so here's the question that I'm going to ask everyone. No, I'm not going to actually ask. I'm going to take this call and then just kind of mention it. Because
okay.
Yeah. So MK from Dallas, Texas. You're in the house. Go ahead.
Doctor, I'm 46 and I've been on perimenopause for 2 years. I've been taking Synthroid since I was 13. It's been about a month and a half since I started taking your gallbladder formula and some probiotics because my gallbladder was removed when I was about 20. I've also added vitamin D, your electrolytes, trace minerals, chia seeds, flax seeds, no dairy except a cheese here and there, almost no nuts, but I'm still constipated.
Yeah. Have you been constipated for a long time?
All my life. Yeah. But, I fight it here and there. Sometimes it gets better, does not get better. Oh, and another thing, I do about, 2.5 cups of vegetables and 2 ounces of protein per meal and about 80 ounces of water every day.
Yeah. Okay, so really quickly, I I think I would give it a little more time with what you're doing. You're doing all the right things, but if you've had constipation that long and you're adding new things in there, could take months before that's improved. In the meantime, I would recommend taking a very good natural herb to help as a laxative, because it's more important to get things moving than to be constipated. Thanks for your call. Real quick, guys, I want to just mention the 3 weird symptoms of fatty liver. Number one is heart pain, like heart attack symptoms.
From a fatty liver. Is that because it puts pressure on the nerve?
Well, what happens is you have as a fatty liver, and sometimes the cirrhosis that develops, the liver starts enlarging, and there's not a lot of space in there, so it's going to push. It's right next to the heart, so it's going to push on the heart. And so if you actually end up sleeping on your left side, it can kind of weight down the heart and cause a pain down your left arm. And you're thinking heart when it could not be. It's not maybe necessarily a heart. It could be, but it's coming from the liver. So just make note of that. This is called the fibroscan. You can go to the doctor and get it. You can scan for a fatty liver and cirrhosis. Ask your doctor about the fibroscan. Scan, not scam. Okay, number 2. Man boobs. Breast tissue if you're a male. Why? Because one of the functions of the liver is to help get rid of excess amount of estrogen. It buffers excess estrogen.
Okay.
So if there's too much estrogen, you can get enlarged breasts, and in a female, you can get spider veins and varicose veins.
So wait a minute. If you have more estrogen, men get the boobs.
Right. Right. Good point, Karen. Good
point. What a rip, man.
I know. Sorry. All right. Okay.
Was there a third one?
Yeah, there's a third one.
Okay.
Your vision starts going south, especially seeing in the dark. Why? Because you're going to be deficient in vitamin A. Why? Because you're losing capacity for the liver to make bile. Without the bile, you can't absorb vitamin A and then the other fat-soluble vitamins. So, again, you need to realize it's not taking more vitamin A, it's actually fixing the fatty liver. I have videos on that. Guys, thank you so much for your comments.
Thanks for coming out.
And have a great week. I hope to see you guys at the summit.
Remember next Friday, some big mystery about one ingredient. Yes, it's about one ingredient that is infiltrating our food chain, and it
has been for years.
It has been. It's not a has been. It has been.
You want to find this out, guys. You want to know. So stay tuned next week.
Okay, guys. Bye.
All right. Have a good one.